You are now tuning in to Stay to the Point Radio.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Damn, right when I enter the show, the wind starts blowing. I got the garage door open because I need some air. Okay, it's like about 98 degrees out here in Texas. Yeah, y'all gonna hear some wind blowing. It's not gonna be the greatest sound ever, so I'm just letting y'all know off that. By the way, I'm Saya, and that lovely woman right next to me, she can introduce her own self.
Sherry, y'all know.
And we are here. We are Stay to the Point Radio and WFBS 98.1. Fuego will be tuning in a few minutes, but we're going to start it off. First and foremost, I already asked this question already. I'm going to ask again. How was your week, Gary?
My week was really, really good. My day was good. Finally, the massage place opened back up. So I just came from there, like literally just came back. And it was amazing.
It was amazing.
Amazing.
Okay, well, yeah, I just came back from the barbershop. As y'all can see, my hair is not as crazy as it was last week. So, yeah, I had to. Wasn't that bad. They kept it real limited. You know, it was like maybe like 6, 7 people in there, you know, with a few chairs. They usually have like 2 rows of chairs. They only had like 5 chairs out. They made sure like, look, we are doing calls and that's it. And how we gonna schedule it? We're gonna schedule it at least 45 minutes separating. And I was like, that's pretty dope, man. So it keeps the crowd very limited. So I was happy for that. I even went in there. I mean, obviously, there's no way I could go in there with a mask. I got to get my beard cut. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go raw dog it. Go in there, raw dog, no protection, go in.
Yeah, they made us wear, they made me wear a mask. Then they called me before the appointment, questioned me. I'm sick. This, blah. They took my temperature when I
I
walked in.
was just about to ask you that. Take your
Yeah.
temperature.
I did get tested for the coronavirus this week, and it is negative. They called me yesterday, so I'm good. But that test, I pray I never have to get that again. It was not nothing nice. They literally take this Q-tip like thing and they shove it like all the way. Like when I say all, it's all the way. It was painful, and they did it twice. They do it at both nostrils. I cried.
Were they trying to get to your brain? The fuck?
Yeah, but that's what it felt like. But they say that it curves. I guess the anatomy of your
Yeah, it does. It goes to your
it, and it goes down. But it hurt so bad. I don't know. Never again. Never again.
I didn't get tested. Might have the roadies. I just don't know. But my body fights it, you know. So I've been up to date. I mean, I haven't been. My problem I have been having is allergies. Like I've been serious every morning, bro. Like it's constant. Like there's mucus all over the place. I gotta clear my nostrils out. And see, I'm a guy, so you know I like guy, you know, just shoot it out. But
Yeah.
whatever. I take my allergy pills and then I'm good for the rest of the day. So it is what it is. I had to cut the grass this morning, so you best believe I took one and then took another one right after. So yeah. Yep. So that's what's up. I had a long week. Good week, but long. Have a 3-day weekend, so I'm excited for that.
Me too.
Like I said, I cut the grass today. I'm building a table, 2 tables, one for the front of the house and one for our room. So we got the wood and everything from Home Depot. I turned to a handyman, you know. It's really handy now. It's not all about just playing sports anymore, you know. But yeah, we're gonna have a great show for y'all guys. We're gonna talk Joe Biden and his comments about you ain't black enough, guy. Period. You just ain't black. All right, you ain't. Jerry, you ain't black enough. So that.
I guess not.
Well, we're gonna talk about Paul Pierce and his comments towards LeBron not being in his top 5. Yeah, the clown of the year, 2020, Paul Pierce.
Oh, look at you being all defensive for your boo.
He's a boo. Got my thing. Pause 3 times.
Ah,
Got my thing.
look, your feelings is all hurt that Paul Pierce ain't riding LeBron James.
No. It's not. You know, to be honest, I don't want to get into it just now. I'm gonna wait till Blake and all that. We might have Sandra that might step in like towards the middle of the show. We'll see. But I want to wait for the end to place my thoughts, my opinionated thoughts on it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna wait on that.
Okay.
But I do want to talk real quick about. I want to shout out Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is a very, 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 very popular podcast guy. He's known for. He's your favorite?
It is my favorite podcast.
Oh, dope. Yeah, Joe Rogan. Known him for first UFC. He was an announcer for the UFC. The boy he's just very knowledgeable in fighting. I mean, I'm talking about every submission, every style. He just knows his shit. Checked out his podcast. I had a coworker that's a big fan of him, so I always hear him listening to him. The guy's very little controversial. I want to say he's a conspiracy theorist, which I like a lot. He has a lot of guests that comes into the show, from doctors to athletes to just different occupations of, people, what they do. And what he does, he talks about it. He goes into politics. He goes into, if you hiding under the rock and you don't know who Joe Rogan is, go ahead and make sure you search it for him. He's
if people have a hard time, then just remind them of Fear Factor. That was my jam back in the day.
Yes.
Fear Factor.
That's where I remember him from first. Yes, it was Fear Factor. But I know him more for the UFC.
Right.
Because that's my shit. But anyways, he just signed a huge deal to Spotify for $100 million. And I'm like, I didn't know how big of a deal this was. I know Joe Rogan is a huge deal. Obviously, Spotify is a huge, major, mainstream streaming company. Obviously, my favorite podcast is signed to Spotify, which is Joe Button Podcast. So, and I'm signed on to them. I got their premium for $10, so I get to listen to all the latest albums and all that stuff. So, I'm about to check out Joe Rogan out, man. I mean, dude, for him to sign a deal for $100 million, Sherry, for multi-million dollar, multi-year. I don't even know if that's the word, but it's a multi-contract where it's probably 2 to 3 years for $100 million. He was known to do over millions of streams on YouTube. No longer is going to be on YouTube. He's only going to be doing Spotify from here on out.
Yeah, that's the part I hate. Now I have to subscribe.
But that's the whole thing. Spotify just won big time.
Yeah, because all of his people that follow him already, they're coming to Spotify. So they really did have to come out of pocket and pay him some major cheese because he's going to be making them way more money than that.
Absolutely. I think the percentage, I don't want to give the exact, but it's between 20 to 40% gross. It's something major, something major, because he was grossing around quite 15 to 10 million
on
views
YouTube?
on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
If not more so, it's ridiculous how much money this guy, just got, but he's well deserved of it. To bring that, and then that's kind of like a steal, because Spotify stole that from YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube is obviously making ridiculous dough off of a lot of other big time guys, you know, from their views and all that, whatever viral or these crazy viral videos or whatever the case is, YouTube is always going to be YouTube. That's the Walmart of mainstream. But for Spotify to pull such a big and say, hey, you can't use YouTube, that's like a nice jab in the face to YouTube, which was really, really dope. But I also want to speak on this because it's a podcast, Sherry. It's a podcast.
Yeah, I mean, it just like that's like ideal. Like, say if he brings, because you were just talking about how many views he gets or whatever. So say out of those, he brings 5 million new people to Spotify. That's $50 million a month. That's a lot of money.
Crazy.
That's a lot.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I mean, he probably gets a certain percentage on top of that too. So it's not like, all right, I'm gonna give you my rights, and all you giving me is the $100 million, and that's it. No, he's probably getting $100 million and still owns his rights to his content. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure, that would be smart. Like, that just doesn't make any. Yeah, that would be smart.
Yeah. So it's really cool to see that, man.
He's had other offers in the past though, because I recall listening to one of his shows where he was talking about it.
Yeah.
So it's crazy that he took the Spotify offer. I mean, $100 million is a lot of money. I would have took it too. I would have took it too. That's a lot of money.
Yes, it is. And I don't know how many shows he does. You would know better. How many shows he does a week, or a month?
I don't know. I just like randomly watch them, so it's not like I tune in intentionally.
Yeah. I gotta check it. Yeah,
I don't tune into anything intentionally. Like the Last Dance was probably for a very long time the other than Power, you know, that I intentionally was tuning in to watch anything.
Right. Yeah, I'm excited just the fact that the podcast world really started. I think he put the bar where, you know, a big time top tier podcast should be making. You know?
Well, yeah, and then like all of his years in the business, especially in regards to, like you were mentioning, UFC, because that's a lot of his guests on the show are affiliated with the UFC or whatever, and just those connections, him using those in a smart way and building his brand and building a business, and he just keeps it all the way real, you know, on the show, which is really nice.
He does, and I like I said, I've seen a bits and pieces of it. I From what I see and from what he speaks on, like the conspiracy theory part is very, very dope to me. I think it gives a perspective, and he's not afraid to speak on things that people are usually afraid to speak on.
Well, he's not afraid to have an opinion. The thing what people don't understand is that we're all going to have our different opinions. This is like, there are some things that are fact, but for the large majority, a lot of stuff that we talk about nowadays is opinion, you know, and he's not afraid to have an opinion. And I think that's what I like about him. Like, even if it's not the popular opinion, that's how he feels. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So shout out to Joe Rogan, man. I mean, again, I'm I always been on Spotify. I've been on Spotify for the past, since Ransom put me on. I want to say it's been 4 or 5 years now. So now that Joe Rogan is on there, I'm definitely adding him to my podcast. Oh, his Fuego beats himself. Perfect timing.
Well,
so shout out to Joe Rogan, man, for that big deal. Congratulations to him. Again, for all these podcasters, because there's a million podcasters out there. It just shows that, hey, man, you need help. You can't go solo. She laughing her ass off.
Because all I could think about was Tiana. It was her from with Bow Wow, and she was saying
Oh,
Byron.
Byron. He wanted to go ahead and change that shit. Oh, wait,
All I
you
could
got
think
clown.
about.
You got clowned again.
I'm famous though, right?
You Fuego Beast now, bro.
I'm always diamond. I don't
Ba-
get
Ooh,
Byron.
Byron.
What are you
talking about?
That's all I could think about. I'm sorry.
We ain't together, okay?
Oh my God. That's
Where
so
you
bad.
at, Fueg?
bother me? I be hearing that all the time, man.
I can't hear you, bro. You low as hell, bro. Speak up.
No, I couldn't because my board is fucked up. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Can you hear me?
Well, we about to move on without your ass, then, because we're gonna go ahead and get into the next topic. We're gonna talk to Joe Biden, man. Joe Biden was doing an interview with the Breakfast Club. Well, actually, really, 1/4 of the Breakfast Club, and that was Charlemagne the God on the pretty much. So due to the social distancing, they had to do like the Zoom type meeting. Can you guys not hear me? Not as well. We cannot. Yes, that's better.
Okay.
So he did an interview with a Breakfast Club just recently, maybe last week, I want to say. And he had some, he was speaking about his political race, his competition towards Trump, the changes that he's trying to do. He was, talking that politician
if you don't
talk.
get to it.
Look, listen.
If you don't get to it.
That politician talk, when they break down into percentages, because I listened to the whole joint.
Tell them.
And towards the end, Charlemagne, they had to go because they went past their time and they had to go. So this is what he said. So we're going to go ahead and share the screen to y'all. Hold on, let me make sure I put this right before I continue. Why does it break that? Okay, we're going to do it like this.
That's really our time. I apologize.
You can't do that to black media.
I can't do that to white media and black media because my wife has to go on at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community. I would love to.
All right. Can you hear me, Cher?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, cool. So that is what he said. And let me just continue a little bit more because I want everybody to see his body language. I mean, his facial.
Take a look at my record, man. I extended the voting rights 25 years.
Okay, all right. So after he said that, obviously the sensitive people got out of. And forgive me too, by the way. I don't rep Fox News. I'm on YouTube. Fox News is the devil. I don't rock with them. They all about the racial and profiling. They just negative in every way. But it's not about what shows on the screen. It's about what this man said. So now he has a response, which I want to get to real quick, to that, of what he said. Here we go.
I've never, ever, ever taken the African American community for granted. I've had their support overwhelmingly. As Dwight can tell you, we have the 8th largest African American population in the country. The percent of population. It's what I've been involved with my whole career. And so the last thing I want to do, and I shouldn't have been such a wise guy. I shouldn't have been so cavalier in responding to what I thought was, anyway, it was, I don't take it for granted at all. And no one should have to vote for any party based on their race, their religion, their background. There are African Americans who think Trump is worth voting for. I don't think so. I'm prepared to put my record against his. That was the bottom line, and it was really unfortunate. I shouldn't have been so cavalier.
All right, so that was his response towards his comments about not being black or black enough. Now, Sherry had pointed this out to me, which I did not know, which I definitely want to bring up real quick as well. It tripped me out when I seen this. Let me make sure I got the right. Hold up. I definitely got to bring this up. Sherry had told me about Donald Trump's website, and how he sells merchandise, whatever the case is, shirts and different things, hats and stuff like that. Oh, check out his new addition to what he is selling. Right here. You Ain't Black by Joe Biden. So that shows we already know who Trump really is. So, I mean, anytime, just like the news, they look for any bits of drama or any bits of controversy and blows it up. Well, our president does too. And that's a perfect example.
It really ain't about Trump right there. It's about if that model is real, it's about that.
See, I was thinking that too, but I don't know. The thing about it is, you know, that a lot of people, they model, see how the t-shirt's very blank, and what they do, you know, that they model, and sometimes they sign these contracts where their pictures can be used pretty much anywhere.
True. And I'm not talking about this specific model. I'm just saying you're using that.
That's what I'm saying. He's making a mockery to me. You're making a mockery of the black community. You know what I'm saying?
It's working because black people are getting mad at that. And to be honest with you, what was wrong with what he said?
And that's my thing. There was nothing.
I would have said it.
There was nothing wrong with what he said, because I agree with you. I would have said the same thing. Like, if you are at all, when you're talking about these two candidates, and if you are at all like questioning where your vote should go, like, I wouldn't say, well, yeah, okay, you ain't black, because we already know where Trump stands when it comes to the black community. So I guess, like, that's what he meant by that. And I think that people are taking it out of context. Like, you already know, like, he's already shown you just how little he cares for your community. So if you vote for him, like, really, then you don't, basically, not that you're not black, but you don't care about the black community if you vote for Donald Trump. And I agree.
Yeah.
So,
and maybe you should have said it like that.
Yeah, like, and you know, him saying that he got a little bit too comfortable, whatever, you know, he was the senator of Delaware. You know, Delaware's black population is extremely high. He's got a large support there. I'm sure he's been, especially being the VP to Obama, he's been embraced by the black community. So maybe he does feel comfortable, but we kind of send the wrong signal when we make white people when we send the wrong signal when we make white people feel like they have to be like walk on eggshells around us when they talk, because we feel the same way around them. So it's like, oh, so it's okay for us to feel that way, but it's not okay for white people to feel that way. We all should be able to speak freely. And it is my opinion that it's a choice to be offended. I always say that, like, if you're offended by something, you're choosing to be offended.
Yeah.
You know, like, if you want to sit there and nitpick and pick people's words apart like that, like, you're looking for something to be wrong with what somebody said. You know, I don't think that he intentionally, obviously that's his up in this election is the black vote. So he's not intentionally going out there trying to, like, sabotage his own self. He didn't mean anything by it. You know what I'm saying? And people are taking it a little bit too far, I think.
I agree. And I think so too. I think they taking it too far. I mean, he obviously he was comfortable. I mean, if you listen to the whole interview, again, he was speaking about his, you know, the political side of things and what he's going to change, and why is it important to do this, why is it important to do that, this, that, and the third. While Charlamagne was asking him all these questions, he was answering the best he can. He was comfortable. He got more and more comfortable. He was like, come on, man, like, check my record. You know, check me out, man. He's like, this, that, and the third. Like, he was just very outspoken. It wasn't the political, putting the nail, putting the hammer to the nail type thing. And this is what I'm going to do. And this robot type talking like this. He wasn't being that guy. He was just being the neighbor.
Like to me, it's like, you sit here and you look at what our options are in regards to, this next election. And I'm not like the biggest, right? I'm not the biggest. It's kind of the same way. Like it was Hillary. It's like, okay, I'm not the biggest Hillary fan, but she's better than Trump. It's like, okay, I'm not the biggest Joe Biden fan, but he's better than Trump. And the reason I say he's better than Trump is because I know where he stands in the Black community. I know what he tries to do for the Black community. Like he said, his record speaks for itself. And I'm not saying that the president that goes into the White House, his only agenda should be the Black community. I'm not saying that. We need somebody in the White House whose agenda is the people in general, like everybody as a whole. And we don't have that right now. You know what I'm saying? So all we have is somebody in the White House just creating division from every angle that you can think of. And it bothers me when I see Black people that just can't see that. Well, it bothers me when I see white people that can't see that. And people are just like, oh, yeah, whatever. Donald Trump did this and he's doing this for the economy. He's doing what? It's kind of like, on his website where it says Keep America Great, because it was MAGA, Make America Great Again. Now it's Keep America Great, and implying that you've made America great in the 4 years you've been president. That's a lie,
That's a lie.
It's just crazy.
I don't know, Sherry, you weren't on the show when me and Fuego was talking about this, but you might be mad at me for this, but I'm not going to vote. And the fact of the matter is,
Sherry was going to do that. I knew.
Yeah, I knew it. I'm not voting. And see, I could easily just took the back road and say, you know what, I'm going to take a few steps back, and I'm going to say, you know what, I might just go ahead. No, I'm not. I'm not voting. I'm not voting for either or. It's just like, no matter what, I'm in a lose-lose situation. So I'd rather just draw. Because at the end of the day, look, Democrats and Republicans are all crooked. They all after the same thing.
I agree.
They all trying to do the same thing. One is just a little bit smarter than the other, but they both doing the same damn thing. They trying to make as much money as possible. That's
correct.
Their whole
It is the
projection.
lesser of two evils. However, it was that same mindset that's why only 53% of the country voted in the last election.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrible. And because of that, we ended up, and I'm not, I can't see the future. I can't go back, and say that Hillary would have been any better. But because nobody went out and voted, and because only 53% went to the polls, look where we stuck at. You know what I'm saying?
How about this? I do my bad, Flag. I'm gonna let you talk. But how about this? I will vote, but I'll vote for the third party.
Whatever you want to do.
Whatever you want to do. I just think that not voting is, to me, when you're not voting, you're spitting in the face of everybody that's fought for us to be able to vote in the first place. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
Secondly, when you don't vote, you literally are giving power to who's in office right now, because you already know he has the upper hand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, we need to get him out of office. He's not good for this country. I'm not saying that Joe Biden is any better, but I know that Trump is no good. That's what I do know. I know that for a fact.
Yeah. And I'm just saying, I asked everybody, not that you have to answer this question right now, because I even go back to like when you voted for Obama or whoever you voted for, what was the reasoning? Then I'm not saying answer that today, but I asked that question because then I asked the question of if you down with Obama, and he's endorsing this guy, how could you not be down with him if you're down with him and he's saying yeah? Like that's what I'm that was my confusion with a lot of people. It's not just you, a couple people that I know feel that way. But that's why I just had that question,
And to me, for people that are in your with that mindset that you're having right now, not to say that you're going to stay that way, but when you have that mindset, think about how many years you are letting go without voting, without having a voice. You know what I'm saying? Because that'll be what? That was 4 years ago. Did you vote?
4 years ago you did, right? Or 8 years ago. No, 4 years
No,
ago. I'm
4
sorry.
years ago.
I just gave him another term and shit.
He's probably gonna get it.
I know, right?
I mean, and the truth is that he probably is, but with that way of thinking, that's how he's going to get it. It was the same thing with the last election. Everybody said that, well, you know, he's this and that and whatever. A lot of people didn't think he was going to do it, and they didn't vote.
I didn't. I
I
voted, but I just didn't think he was going to do it.
Right. I voted as well, but I didn't think that he was going to get it either.
Because it was lazy on Hillary's part. But whatever.
It was. Absolutely.
Her.
But she thought she had the shoe in, and
That's
agreed. I agree.
She was cocky.
That's what I'm saying.
And you know,
and that's what she did. But at the end of the, go ahead.
My thing is that we know Biden has, you know, he's a politician. You know, at the end of the day, politics are politics, business or business is business. You know, I always told people, I said, it's not that I'm not saying that Trump shouldn't have a place in the White House as an advisor or something like that if he has that knowledge. I just don't think that he belongs in the Oval Office. He's not a president. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not people don't understand that everybody has a job. The president doesn't make all the decisions. My biggest issue is the administration as a whole. There are people allowing him to do this. I know people say, you can't tell Trump what to do. That's bull crap. Like, there's people that surround these presidents that manage or help them manage their social media, that help them manage what they say at the podium and whatever. And Trump could just be going rogue every day. I don't know. I'm not there. But it's supported. Just like whoever put that, you know, he has put fear in everybody that works for him that if they don't do what he says, then they're going to get fired. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Or they're going to get backstab. They're going to try to ruin their lives somehow. My thing is, though, and I think we spoke about this. I want to say we spoke about this years ago. I mean, it's been even I talked to this about Ransom too. He talked to me about it, and it was so true. Yeah. People go after the popular guy, right? Yeah. Like the presidential candidate is the popular race. That everybody goes after that race. And because it's the president is the big man, whatever the case is. He is the face. People forget the vote. You got to vote for the Congress. You got to vote for the governor. You got to vote for the mayor. They stop at president. They don't go any further down. So, that's the problem right there. They nobody gets any knowledge on what else.
And we learn that in school, you know, the different branches. And what affects us more directly every day, because I talk about this a lot, is your local vote. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going to affect you more. That's what's going to help your schools. That's why you have so many people, you know, and I try to, I think that Black people need to be educated, especially in some of these rural areas. They need to be educated that their vote does matter, especially in regards to how much money their schools and stuff get. I was doing some research about some schools and stuff in some of these lower income areas and stuff like that, and the schools are terrible. I mean, I'm talking about roaches, rats, it's just disgusting. Broken windows, rusted water fountains. I mean, you name it. It's really bad. And you look and like, how is this even allowed to be open? And, you know, then you have it'll be like a white neighborhood a mile down the street with a better school, and they're getting 3 times more money from the state than this one school. I mean, I was astonished by some of the stuff that I was finding out. And I was like, this is crazy. And that all has to do with your vote. You know, they're pushing this, since it's 2020 thing. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm still, just because of everything that's going on, I think a lot of people are in fear of completing that for whatever reason. But they're pushing it like really, really hard. And I don't know why. I'm still trying to figure out why it's being pushed so hard, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to figure out why every time we're talking about $1 or what a community should get, we have to consider their race. I don't understand that.
Exactly. I don't really understand none of that. Like really. I just see, I'm less on to like the deep diving into politics. I just see what I see, like, and I don't have to be a, a guru in politics to know that the whole system's been messed up my entire life. But specifically, this Trump stuff is out of hand. You can see visibly how people are just the extra cockiness because now I can come out and be racist. Like that's how it feels like they. I didn't even feel this way when Bush was there. I didn't feel that people weren't in terms of what I see. I would have been living down in Virginia Beach area. I'd have had many fights down there if this was happening then. I don't even think we would be friends with some people that we were friends with. Uh-oh, what happened?
No, you good. You good.
Oh, that was you. Oh, okay. I'm trying to.
I just think that
Yeah,
this whole situation has really like encouraged, for some reason, a lot of hate and a lot of like it's like you can't. It's like the word black is so offensive to some white people. I mean, it's like, wow, I can't say black this, or I can't say black that, or I can't, like, okay, I'll give you an example. I got attacked on one of Snoop Dogg's Instagram things today.
Oh, really?
Because he posted this picture of, how like some people put the rag in the middle of the sink?
Yeah.
And he said a sign, basically it was like saying a sign that the black kitchen is closed.
Okay.
And so many white people hopped on that, not just white people, but some Spanish people too, and were offended that he like made that a black thing. And I'm like, you're taking it wrong. Like if you do that in your kitchen, then you do that in your kitchen. But he's black, so he said a sign that a black kitchen is closed. And then people were like, he has black maids and all this other stuff. And, I'm not sure how Snoop Dogg's life has changed, but to my knowledge, they keep that kind of stuff, even though they have money. Everybody that has money has help. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those people applied for the job. It's not like he forced anybody to do it.
That's what I'm saying. They're getting paid crazy.
They're getting paid more than some people that work in corporate offices. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like even if he does have people that clean his house, and even if they are black or Spanish or whatever, those people applied for that job and they're getting paid very well to do it. You know what I'm saying? So whatever, it's not even nowhere near the same as somebody being forced to clean up after a white person and not receiving any benefits from it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not the same thing.
Exactly.
And so, but anyway, I got kind of like a couple people came from my neck because I was like, you're getting offended over something that wasn't intended to offend you. If you do that in your kitchen, then you do that in your kitchen. If you're Spanish and you do that in your kitchen, then you do that in your kitchen. Like, he's not going to speak for you. He can't attest for you because he's not you. He's black though.
The whole
and
thing,
it's okay for him to speak from a black point of view. Yeah. Without you getting offended. Like, take your ass somewhere. It's not that deep.
I'm being honest. I mean, that wouldn't have bothered. In terms of what Snoop said, I mean, that's stupid. Why would you get upset at that period, specifically because he's talking about his own people?
Right.
You know what I mean? But I don't like, and I try to put myself in everybody's shoes. So I've talked to, white friends of mine and others, and they feel like, we can't joke nobody. We can't talk about Spanish. We can't talk about black because we're going to be looked as racist, but y'all can say whatever y'all want. And I always said I don't like that because I like you can say what you want to. Me and my friend, we all clown. We say all kind. Now there's offensive things. You don't call me the P word. You don't call me the B word, and you don't call me the N word. That goes for anybody. If me and Ariel talking or somebody, sorry, government. But if we, if me and you talking, and say you call me, you let me shut up, whatever, and you call me the B word or whatever, we might have that joke. But if we was in a like, if I didn't know you and you was black and you called me the N word, we gonna fight. I don't care if you're black.
Right.
I don't like that. I don't like you because you're calling me ignorant. That's what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But if we cool with each other, it's just like I remember one time, this dude thought It was actually, I was gonna tell the story last week. It was in front of the high school we went to, and this dude thought that we was, calling each other dumb, and we was out. I think Hiawatha might have been out there with Carlton, and the dude said we was like, man, shut up, stupid, to my cousin, and the dude said, I know, right? He's stupid, right? So my cousin said, what'd you say? He was like, well, he called you stupid. Well, that's him. He was like, now give me everything in your pocket. And I'm like, dude, you robbing him in front? No gun, no nothing. He said, give it to me. And y'all know who the dude, like, I'm not going to call his name right now. Y'all know the dude. He said, he looked around. He said, I said, give it to me. He was like, I ain't going to tell you again. So the dude said, I only got $3. He said, I want it. And he took it. And the dude looked sad as hell. But he was like, yo, the point is not the whole robbery thing or whatever. The point is that you can't come out your mouth, even though we call each other any kind of names, you can't do it. But I don't understand. I don't agree, I'm going to say, that we can go up on comedy joints and we could clown white people all day. But if they do it, then we label them as racist. I don't like that. I can understand certain things. Like, I'm not saying go in a barrage of N-words. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if you clown, like Gary, what's his name? Is it Owens?
Yeah.
Gary Owens. He do that. And we have no problem because we accepted him.
But we accepted him, and he's married to a black woman.
Exactly, but let
he never said it though.
No, I'm not talking about the N-word.
I think that he's very respectful in regards to black
but I'm saying, but let's let a person that is a Trump guy, right? That is a Trump follower, one of the guys that are like that, and they have mostly white people that they have, like what's that guy's name? The Larry, the cable guy that was fake country. But let him do that. We have a whole different mindset. We have a whole different disposition on that. And because we accepted Gary. And we were the same type of jokes. I don't think it would be the same outcome.
Where I always have my reservations with that stuff is when I detect disrespect. Like if you're doing it and it's just fun or whatever, I think that's one thing. Because we're all people, we're all different. We all come from, different backgrounds or whatever. But sometimes to me, it is disrespectful. For me, like I always find it disrespectful when I meet a white woman that tries to act
I know what you mean.
Black. That offends me. Why? Because it offends me because for whatever reason, that's what you think a black woman talks like. And that's offensive to me. As if I have that's how, like if somebody said act like, a black girl, that's what you think a black girl acts like. Yeah. And that offends me as a black woman. And, it offends, I'm gonna tell you why it offends me. And I know, I don't know if I know what you're gonna say, but it's no different to me because if somebody told me to act white, being funny, I would put on a Valley Girl, and that's, to me, it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? But I don't walk around I don't think that speaking proper is speaking white and speaking Ebonics is speaking black or urban. It's just what it is. It's just where you're from. You know what I'm saying? Right. So to me, and even not even where you're from, because you can be from the hood and speak perfectly fine English. Like I always found it offensive when somebody thinks that I speak well. Was I supposed to not retain the same information that Becky did? Like, I don't understand. Like we can't learn the same for some reason.
But, I bumped, my bad for it.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I bumped into, for example, I knew a person I used to work with back when this is a long time ago. Back when I used to work at Hardee's back in College Park. There was this girl by the name of Jackie. I used to call her white chocolate because Jackie just had a urban style to her. And a lot of her friends were female, majority were guys, because, girls really, she always seemed to always get the petty side from the girls. So she didn't really like that. So she always hanged out with a lot of guys. And it was never on this physical, she must have been getting smashed by these dudes. It's nothing like that. She was just, she understood. She was more comfortable around guys than girls. And it's not the first time hearing that, where girls, they don't have a lot of girlfriends. is more guy friends than girls because of the pettiness of and the clashing of that, of maybe the way they act or the way they feel or however the situation is. I don't know. I'm not a girl. So anyways, she just had this urban mentality to her. Like she was just able to speak that. She was able to talk that slang, that ebonics that Sherry was just talking about. And, usually first time, it's like, because you a white girl with curly hair. But after a few, like getting to know her, you like it was received better. It wasn't like it was still awkward after the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th day. It was received. It was like, you know what, that's Jackie. You feel what I'm saying? That's her. This, that, and third. She just had that swag to her. It was nothing to knock her. It wasn't she was trying to be black.
But that's I think you're misunderstanding me.
Oh, yeah,
if
yeah.
you grow up in that community and that's your surrounding, you're going to naturally pick that up.
Adapt that,
There's no color to that. That's what I'm trying. That's the point that I'm trying to make. My issue is with the ones that are not genuinely that way.
Right.
When you are that way one minute and then you get around your family and you're a totally different way.
That's what I was going to say.
That's my problem. And my other problem is because they don't understand that as a black girl, people, when I approach somebody or approach a situation, I'm always a black girl first. Most white people are going to assume how I talk. They're going to assume where I come from. They're going to assume my education. They're going to assume a lot of things about me. And it takes for me to break down a wall before a white person can respect me on a certain level. I gotta disclose where I went to school. I gotta disclose, this. I have to, I was in the military, or yeah, I have a degree in this, or yeah, blah, blah, blah. Like I gotta tell a lot about myself before I gain a certain level of respect from a white person in certain situations. But when a white girl walks up, no matter where she comes from, she's always seen as a white girl. The assumption is the complete opposite. And white women don't have to explain themselves the way that black women do in order to get respect. Period, point blank.
I'm sorry, Sherry. Go ahead and finish your last thoughts, Wade, because we got to go into the next segment.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that, man. I agree with, and I hear what both of you guys are saying. My only issue is the same. If you grow up, like I'm gonna take it where you was talking about Hardee's and College Park. I know multiple cultures that come from the same neighborhood, but I'll go in one house, right? You're in the same neighborhood, one house, you're a white girl, the next door neighbor's a white girl, and both of y'all talk completely different. So then I question, like usually like in the Bronx, for instance, a lot of people talk similar. You know what I'm saying? And not everybody is into, like we talked about last week. But I wonder, then I go deeper and I'll look at your family. And I'll notice that your family is totally different. So then you might have just liked the culture. That's cool. You know what I mean? To like the culture and get involved. But it's when you start to put grease in your hair, like we have to. Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like you start to really change yourself and go extra. I call it just you're extra because that's making you, you talk like a black girl. Well, what is that supposed to mean?
Right. And that's where my offense comes from. And it's a choice to be offended. I say it all the time, but I'm offended every time. I don't like it. I'm sorry.
And then it's just like, I hate to bring the gay community into this, but it's just like those dudes that try to act like women. That extra flat boy, this, that.
Don't do it, yo.
Don't do that shit. Don't do that shit, bro.
No, but that's true. I don't like that. Like I know dudes that's gay. They men though. They just like men. I mean, that when you have to go that route, I don't understand the mind.
Why you can't just be gay? Why you gotta act like that?
Yeah,
extra,
I don't know.
Just be 100% you.
Like if you're gay, you're gay. Like talking like that doesn't change. Like it doesn't change anything. You know,
it doesn't. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and go into a commercial break, man. We're gonna go ahead and talk this Paul Pierce.
That dude is a clown.
And we're gonna get into it, man. All right. We'll be right back. Deuces.